guys, this one's going to be doing a review today. This one's going to be doing a review for Dexter Resurrection. This one's going to be doing another discussion video after the 5th episode of Dexter Resurrection. We're going to talk about this season so far of Dexter Resurrection, how it's been going so far, and is it peak, and is it great TV? So, I want to talk about that. I want to discuss how the season's been going so far, my kind of opinions on the first half of season 1 at least of Dexter Resurrection, and kind of get your thoughts and, you know, how you felt about the first half so far. We're delving into the other 5 episodes here starting off in a few days, so I figured we would kind of discuss this, you know, a little bit. So, yeah, Dexter Resurrection, man, has been a really fire series so far. I've really enjoyed it. I think it's been a very fun ride, and, well, I gotta tell you, I have not expected it to be this good, genuinely. I was pretty worried going into it, I will admit, because I was like, man, what if it doesn't live up to the expectations? You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of hype going into this, you know? I mean, they had Original Sin, you know, this past winter to hype up, you know, the return of Dexter by giving us his origin story. Like, they really built this season up, you know? So finally getting to the season, I mean, honestly, I think they've done an outstanding job. In particular, episodes 3 and 4 are my 2 favorites. Those episodes are awesome in a lot of ways. Those are freaking awesome episodes. I really liked episode 1. Episode 2 was great too. 5 was solid. I liked 5. 5 was definitely my least favorite of this season, but that's not really saying much. I still really enjoyed episode 5. I thought they did a really good job with it. This season, genuinely, with the storytelling, I love the fresh vibe of New York. I think it's been a very unique, you know, setting so far. I think they're using it to their absolute, you know, just full potential. I watched another New York show that we reviewed on the channel a few months ago, and they did not use New York to their full potential. So I'm glad that Dexter is able to have the budget to do so, not just show one street. If you know, you know what I'm talking about. Dexter's done a good job. You know what I mean? Dexter's done a great job, and I think they've really made it feel like New York. Why? Because they're actually filming in New York, you know? Again, another pet peeve I've seen from other entertainment this year. I'm like, well, why did you make a New York show if you don't film in New York, you know? But anyway, so I love that. I love Dexter's character this season. I really do. I love that he's shifting into those old ways. You know, the quirkiness, the blood slides, you know, the just constant need to take someone out that he feels is a threat. You know, getting himself into situations that he probably shouldn't get into, you know what I mean? It's classic Dexter. I really like it. I like the fake voice on the phone call last episode too, you know what I mean? They very much have brought him back to a lot of the classic Dexter ways, because in New Blood, like, he was Dexter, but he was a more closed off, reserved, I'm Jim Lindsay type of thing, you know what I mean? Where in this, he's able to more so kind of be himself. His name is cleared. He's out there again. You know, he's able to kind of, you know, do his thing, you know what I mean? And I think that's why it works so well, you know? And I've seen some comments online, and I find this kind of insane. A lot of people are saying just because of how good Resurrection is, they're like crapping all over New Blood, you know what I mean? Well, I still love New Blood. I really do. I understand that it's probably not as good as this, but I still like New Blood a lot, you know what I mean? And I think the big reason that people are hating on New Blood is because a lot of people said that Dexter wasn't full-on Dexter. You know, Harrison was kind of more of a brat in that show, you know what I mean? Angela, her character, unfortunately, in the end, didn't really go in a good direction, stuff like that. And sure, that may be true, but I still like New Blood a lot. I really do. I still enjoy that season. I still think it was really well done. And I think the writing was still good. I mean, y'all know, I liked Harrison in New Blood. I enjoyed Dexter in New Blood. I liked that new version of his character, you know what I mean? I liked the winter environments. I liked Iron Lake as a location. I liked Kurt. I liked a lot of what they did, you know? So I think they've done a really, really good job, genuinely. I think they've done a great job with this season. So my whole thing is with Dexter Resurrection so far is I think they've done a stellar job. Now, it does not mean I don't have my few things I do think they could have done better, and obviously I'll still mention them. The Mia twist of her not being a vigilante and just being like some random crazy killer, it's not a bad twist because the actress does a good job playing a psycho, so I don't mind it. But it's one of those things where it's like, okay, you definitely could have had a chance, though, to go in a direction that, you know, was more original rather than just a psycho killer. I think they missed a little bit of a mark there, as I've mentioned before, but I think it's been good. And really, I mean, the only other big thing that stood out to me this season as a flaw is just the way they concluded Angela's character. I felt like, you know, Angela's character kind of left with just nothing. They kind of just wrote around it, which was obvious in the way that they told their story. So I think that was definitely a flawed way of doing things. You know, and it kind of made Angela feel like a bit of a pointless character, which I think might be why people resent New Blood, which I don't get, because, you know, at the time of watching New Blood, Angela was probably supposed to, you know, just kind of be concluded, and that was going to be it. So they didn't really, you know, I wouldn't say they messed her character up. They just didn't know how to write her out of the story. So I still enjoy her character, you know, despite what they did in Resurrection, trying to kind of erase her so quickly, stuff like that, you know what I mean? And, well, my only other complaint this season really has been, I just think there's certain characters that have been a little bit underused, like Charlie, because even though I think Charlie's been a great character, and I do think Uma Thurman is doing a great job, I will say I have noticed kind of an annoying trend, which is that every episode she's only had like one scene, which I think is kind of unfortunate, because you should definitely add more to her character than just 1 or 2 scenes per episode. I've kind of noticed that, like, she's only got like 5 minutes per episode sometimes, which, you know, again, there's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like there's so much more you can do with her character than just 5 minutes of an episode. I get their cast is big. I definitely get that they are trying to balance everything out, but that's still something I would say is like, yeah, like, I think there's definitely stuff they could have done with her. More screen time would be needed, but I don't think that's a horrible thing, because I feel like we're going to get more screen time with her going forward, so I'm not going to nag on that too much. But aside from that, I think this season's been great. I think they've had a lot of great stuff. Batista is like, honestly, what I wanted him to be, which is forefront, you know, massive character, doing a lot of his investigation stuff. I think it's been really good. Harrison's plot, you know, trying to cover up the murder, I think has been a really interesting storyline. Definitely my favorite Harrison stuff we've seen so far on the show. Him reconnecting with his dad, I thought was awesome, with Dexter, you know what I mean? And, well, Leon and this whole serial killer squad genuinely is what's making the season for me right now, is like their story, their killers, their whole operation is super intriguing. It's super interesting. I think they've really, really gone all out with them, and I'm really enjoying Leon as a character so far. I think he's been a really creative and different and unique character. So I think they've done a really good job with him, Mia included, and I think everybody, you know, has been really good. I think Gemini Killer will be good, I think, going forward. And, well, so far, I think the vibe, the feel, the old school vibe mixed with the new vibes, I think they've really done their job this season, and I think they've done a good job as of late, at least with the first half of the season. We'll see where the second half goes, but honestly, if it's any indication, I think we're in for a really great season here. And so far, the first half of season 1, I would say, besides a few slip-ups, because there were a few I did catch, besides a few slip-ups, I think this has been fantastic. I think they've done a great job with this season. I think they've done a really stellar job just bringing you back into the Dexter world, really making you feel a lot of the crazy stuff going on. It's immersive, it's really engaging, it's intriguing. Every time an episode ends, I want to click on the next one, and then I remember that there isn't a next one, you know what I mean? So that kind of goes into it. I think they've done a really stellar job with this season so far, and I have a lot of confidence of where this is going to go, you know what I mean? And I've heard a lot of people say, like, you know, oh, like, you know, Dexter Resurrection, like, you know, like, will it end bad, like, you know, season 1 of New Blood, and, you know, will it end bad like season 8? I definitely hope not. I hope that they know what they're doing. Obviously, I don't think we have to worry about that for an extensive amount of time, though, so I'm just going to kind of enjoy the ride until we get to that moment. Hopefully, though, they've managed to create a great ending for this when that time comes, because we definitely, I would say, as Dexter fans, how loyal we are giving this show a third chance, and they've done a great job, because this third chance has been worthy. I think Resurrection's been fantastic. So as long as they stick the landing, I think this will be great, and I think this will be a fantastic redemption story of TV. It's why Dexter is such an interesting thing to cover right now, is because we are witnessing TV history. They're getting a third chance to end their show, you know what I mean, at one point here. That is not something you see very often, so I gotta say, I'm very, very impressed with what they're doing. I'm very impressed with how they're handling this franchise right now. I think they've done a stellar job with it. I think they've done a really good job, and I think overall we're heading in a direction that I think is going to be overall very good for the franchise. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know how you all felt about Dexter Resurrection so far. How do you feel about the first half? How do you feel going into the back half of the episodes? And do you think this season will end up being, you know, amazing like the first half was? How did you feel about the first half? Let me know all that stuff down below. So So if you're new to the channel, guys, and you enjoy videos like this, make sure to click subscribe and to miss any of the videos. Make sure to follow me on Dan's Reviews Official on Instagram, guys. And of course, I'll see you guys really soon for more videos very soon for Dexter Resurrection. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and peace out.
Born in the dark alleys, city of concrete. Dan's reviews blowing up, never taste defeat. Walking Dead dissected every plot twist beat. World gone mad, TV junkies did a treat. Typing up scripts, marathon through the night. His opinions hit harder than a street fight scene. Every episode, brain sharper than a knife. He's the beacon of critique, shedding TV light.